Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello from Santiago de Chile. We're in the Venture Outfitter. Happy to be with you guys today. Wanted to go ahead and tell you about the Venture Outfitter. Thanks for joining us today. For the Venture Outfitter is all about supporting you with your business, connecting around the world. And we got a really special program today. We'll talk about it a little bit more in just a second. But today's sponsor is the Mexico Aerospace Summit 2023. It's going to be in Chihuahua on September 7th and 8th. Many people don't know that Chihuahua is a location that does a lot of aerospace, including some U.S. military aerospace. So a very special place. We're definitely excited about the continuing work that we're uncovering and what's happening there. If you're interested in joining the Aerospace Summit, you can go to the URL that's listed above, mexicoaerospacesummit.com. This information will also be on the TechCrunch events calendar. And if you are considering it or would like an inside line and perhaps are not already connected into the industry there, and maybe you can't make it September 7th and 8th, let us know. Because of our relationship with the state of Chihuahua, we're happy to help connect you into the appropriate places. Next week, we're going to have a very special program for entrepreneurs. Whether you're in the United States or some other part, one of the biggest issues is product management. And so Paul Young is a long-term tech rancher, but probably even more impressive than that, he is a long-term trainer in market-driven company and mindset activities. He was one of the founding members of Product Camp in Austin, which is a very impactful product management organization, and has gone on to do a lot of different things. So he'll be with us next week. This is especially necessary for those of you that are international, that don't have exposure to the US style of product management. If you don't, this is going to have a lot of insight into actually how to make sure that you're listening to very specific, subtle things about the voice of the customer. So join us next week. In Austin and around the world, there's a lot of fire happening. In fact, our hearts go out to the families of the 36 people that just recently that have died over the last few days in Maui, but also in Austin, Texas. There's been a lot of wildfires happening. Now, that one happened to be right next to where I live in Austin. So the main thing that I want to do is make sure that we're all careful about what's happening. I think there's no question that we know that the impact of climate change is impacting the world. Let's do something about it. If you have tools about this, since there's been so much concern about what's happening with climate change, there's a couple different areas of the community site at the community.techranch.com site that if you're not a part of and you want to join, make sure you go to techranch.com/connect. And there's a free place to get onto the site, techranch.com/connect. If you have applications, tools, or needs in that space, let us know. Let us know by posting in there. Don't send me an email. Post into the general area on the community site. Part of what we're going to do, I think, as we're pulling together all these different locations around the world, there's enough of us to bind together solutions for solving these problems together. All right, so many of you know that I've been traveling, and one of the things that's been happening is getting to sample some culture. Today, we're going to hear from one of the congressmen of the state of Mendoza, but he took me to an event the other night that was really a lot of fun. This is flamenco. So one of the things that I like to do is to make sure that if you haven't experienced being an entrepreneur in multiple locations, this is one of my biggest concerns. I think it's one of the biggest opportunities for transformation of yourself or myself or any of us as individual humans, as well as it's a really powerful thing to do as an entrepreneur. And so getting to participate with that, we're going to hear from Jose a little bit later in the program. In just a couple of slides, we'll bring him on. But the main thing to know is to plug into the local culture. Now, One of the downsides of travel, though, is last night, my flight from Santiago back to Atlanta, then Atlanta back to Austin got canceled. So I am doing today's broadcast studio is actually in a hotel room in Santiago. No, I'm not back in, I was supposed to be in Atlanta right at this time for the broadcast. So this is my makeshift broadcast studio today, and kind of excited I'm excited about everything that's happening. I'm really bummed that it wasn't until 3:00 that I got back to the hotel after the problem that happened with the Delta flight. I'm probably going to write about it because I'm like, okay, well, it sucks when this sort of stuff happens. And as an international traveler, you have to kind of learn to roll with the punches, which is just good to do. But also, hey, Delta, we'd like to give you some feedback about it too, about what can make it better. But that being said, let's talk about other cities that we're going to be helping support, sister cities in Austin, build bridges to. Chiang Mai, Thailand is coming on, and Florence, Italy are two of the newest sister cities that are going to be tying into Austin. You might ask, why am I bringing these up? The main thing, we're going to hear about Mendoza today, and there's a number of different cities that the TechCrunch network is already tied into. But part of the thing that's about to shift, and I started having conversations about this earlier this week, is the TechCrunch core team is a fairly small team. But part of what makes it possible for us to be able to have this punch together with you guys about, making the difference in the world, helping entrepreneurs along the way, is that there's so much, each one of you probably has a special interest area. Like I was talking to one of TechCrunch's instructors earlier today. Her name is Courtney Isunza. And I said, you know what? I know, Courtney, based on your background, you might be interested in supporting the activities that are happening around Florence, Italy, because that's where she's interested in. Make a long story short, there's going to be in the general area of the community site, we're going to kick off a thread later today that says, hey, if you're interested in getting involved in a specific part of one of the other parts of the world that the TechCrunch is got like a footprint in, or sometimes it's not even a footprint, probably, sometimes like with these two cities, the conversation is just getting started. If you're interested, the long-term place is to say, hey, I'd like to be, I'd like to volunteer to get involved, or I'd like to be involved in the country manager process. Now, the country managers, this, to be very clear, is not a paid position, but it's totally cool as you as an entrepreneur. It's not a job. We don't have a job rec called country manager, but we do look to partner with other entrepreneurs that want to take advantage of the network connections that we have. We have a concept called a country manager role that we will partner with country managers, individuals that are in these other countries or that are in Austin that want to support this type of work. That information is available inside of the community site as well. We have a whole channel with a training around it, how to do it. And we're not asking you to be a volunteer with us. We're asking for you to collaborate with us. That is, you've got an interest in some other part of the world, and there might be a business interest attached to it. And I'm going to tell you that we have people doing this type of connectivity work from here in Santiago all the way to Austin, all the way to Tashkent, Uzbekistan. Yes, there is a Tashkent, Uzbekistan country manager. And what are they getting out of it? It's just a way of us collaborating together to create business opportunities together. And as an example, the gentleman in Tashkent, Uzbekistan, his name is Kabir. He was involved in the TechCrunch programs early on. He was part of the Uzbek Business Leader program that brought him to Austin, Texas. We hit it off. We connected him into the country manager program. And now he's leveraging the TechCrunch network for driving business that he benefits from in his home country. So if you're interested in being involved in these sister cities that are getting kicked off, or maybe one of our other cities that we have done, worked with historically, or the conversation we're just about to have about Mendoza, the main thing is to raise your hand. And the ways to raise your hand is you can either post into the community area later today when I post about this call for getting other people involved, or you can go to techcrunch.com/connect and look for the link on the country manager application process. And like I said, it's not a job, but we want entrepreneur to entrepreneur. We want to create opportunity with each other. Entrepreneurs work with each other. They don't work for each other. It's a with each other kind of relationship. Perfect. Okay. Well, so your feedback has been less commercial, more substance. So let's talk about substance. I was in Argentina over the last few days and absolutely loved it. The video that was earlier about getting to participate at the Consul of Spain in Mendoza's house for watching, getting to see this tableau of I guess it's called the Tableau del Flamenco was amazing. To give you an idea where Mendoza is compared to Santiago here in South America, Santiago is where I am right this second. Mendoza is where we're going to be connecting in with Jose. And just a little bit of background about Mendoza, because Jose is actually going to share more information about it. And I won't go into all this sort of stuff, but I will tell you a little bit about my experience when Jose and I are talking a little bit. But there's a lot of different activities, cultural experiences, great industry. But the gentleman that we actually have who's coming on to share with us, and he's going to share a few slides. He's a good friend. I've known him for about 12 years. He's been bringing delegations of different politicians to Austin over the last 12 years, mainly to kind of show this is the US style or the Texas style of doing things, and comparing that with how things are happening in Argentina. We're going to actually hear, as part of what he and I discuss after he goes through the slides, about what's the big change that's about to happen in Argentina, how can you take advantage of it. But Jose has been a good friend for many years. I'm excited to have him on. What we'll do is let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and we'll bring Jose on. Jose, first off, it's great to see you. I had so much fun in Mendoza, and it was really, really exciting to get to talk to the two mayors that we got to talk to and all that sort of stuff. Welcome onto the program, and let's talk about Argentina and Mendoza specifically. I know you have a few slides, but before you put on the slides, you want to say anything before we kick things off?
Hello again, Kevin. Thanks so much for receiving me here. For me, it's a pleasure to be able to talk with you. First, I want to say sorry for my English because it's not very good. And well, it was a pleasure. Y lo siento
por mi español. Sorry that my Spanish is just, I'm still working on it.
Okay, it was a pleasure to have you in Mendoza during the last days. For us, it's very important to try to build bridges or build ties between the United States and Mendoza, and to help entrepreneurs from there and from here to try to get the world better. We have been talking, working, and being friends for 12 years. And it's very important that always we are trying to make something to get a better environment for the entrepreneurs of our countries.
Well, yeah, no, I've been honored to get to work with you and the different team members that you've brought, the entrepreneurs, the politicians, and yeah, very excited about what comes in the next few months and in the connection of that we've been building. So thank you for being here.
Well, my idea is to try to explain with some slides. Maybe if someone wants to ask a question later, it will be great to try to, if I'm able to explain them or to take out any doubts that you have. Well, I'm going to share.
Yeah, please go right ahead. What we'll do is, just for everyone, what we'll do is Jose is going to go through a few slides, tell us a little bit about Mendoza, and then we will have a section of time that we'll take questions, and I'll do my best to take questions from the streams as well as in the studio audience. So thank you for kicking it off. I'll go right ahead.
Okay. Well, the first thing that I would like to explain to you is maybe where is Mendoza, because most of you maybe know Mendoza because of Malbec wine. But well, Mendoza have a lot of different important things. We are very, very, very good located. We are in the west part of Argentina, very near Chile, as Kevin told you. We have near 150,000 square meters. 2 million of people live in our country. We have a lot of human development. We have a lot of things that I'm going to try to explain you. We are the 4th GDP of Argentina, and well, we have a lot of interesting things. If you see the location of Mendoza, it's very important because in Mendoza we have the international border with Chile, and we have a road that is like a mini Panama Channel, because we have all the cargo from Brazil, Uruguay, Paraguay, that is going to Asia, cross by the Mendoza border. We have a border that have a lot of grain and a lot of trucks sending things from one part of South America to Asia, and receiving things that arrive to the port of Valparaiso or to other ports of Chile and goes to Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, and Paraguay. Well, when we talk about the economic sectors, Mendoza is very diverse. We have a lot of development. We have mining, we have agricultural, livestock, manufacturing, we produce energy, we have a lot of development in the tourism sector and of financial sectors. When we have to talk about what Mendoza export to the world, well, we have to take in mind some things that our most important international partner is Brazil, then the United States of America, China, the United Kingdom, and China. Most of our exports are agricultural manufacturing. That is, most of them is wine. We have walnuts. We have also now, I have a problem with the slides. You have to be patient with me because it's very difficult to me to talk in English. We are growing, and we are sending a lot of exports. And well, I will continue explaining you reasons. When we were talking with Kevin in Mendoza, we were talking about what are the important things to try to be entrepreneur in Mendoza, or to try to do things in Mendoza. And we were drinking wine in a winery, and we were talking about the things that I tried to make a very short and fast brief of Mendoza, that were the strategic location, the natural sources that we have, because we have a lot of natural sources. We have a huge platform of industrial infrastructure. We have an ecosystem of innovation, science, and technology. We have 10 universities, 2 are public and 8 are private. And we have a lot of projects, business, and human capital. But the last thing that I'm going to talk maybe is the first important thing of Mendoza, the quality of life. We have a real, very good quality of life in a really good environment, and it's very important to have in your mind when you talk about Mendoza. And well, when we talk about the other things, the things that I was telling you, we have a lot of logistics, we have connectivity, and well, maybe I can be talking a lot about things to try to sell our province, but maybe it's important to continue talking with Kevin, or to receive your questions about about what is more interesting to you, to not get you bored with more slides that I have. Maybe what do you think, Kevin? Do you like to continue talking?
That sounds great. I think in some ways what we can do is, we can actually do what we can do is we can actually talk a little bit back and forth about different things that have happened with different experiences and stuff like that. Jill, if you can, go ahead and bring Jose back on to as a spotlight. Perfect. All right. Well, so part of the thing that's interesting about Mendoza, based on where it's at, a lot of people are like, and a point-to-point relationship, a lot of times the focus is just tying into Austin when people are soliciting, my connection. But part of the thing that I think is really interesting, and I want to make sure that I say this context first, because I think a lot of times, some people oversimplify things and they don't see the possibility of what Jose and I might point to. We'll weave that into part of the conversation. Given that Mendoza has such human capital and historically has like such a high quality life, like part of the thing that I was really surprised by was for my first time in Mendoza. You walk down the streets, whether you're walking through a poor area or a really fancy area, it's the cleanest city I've ever seen. It was the cleanest city across the board. It was really interesting. So when Jose is mentioning this thing about community or standard of living and stuff like that, it's really surprising. It was, fairly inexpensive, but also very, very, very accessible, very clean, very, very comfortable. The other thing that I might mention that I think is interesting is part of the story that I've been telling to different people is they might say, hey, I really want to focus on Austin. But a lot of times when we're speaking to entrepreneurs across the network, the idea that you might think about is if you're wanting to take advantage of Austin, part of the value of taking advantage of Austin is taking advantage of northern Mexico, because there's this, as we talked about last week and the week before, there's been this massive shift towards northern Mexico and just a business level that is just shifting there. Trade's shifting away from China and shifting to the Americas, and it's shifting to northern Mexico. But part of the opportunity as China gets displaced by the trade amounts, Mexico's not big enough. And so part of the thing that's interesting is to look at how can we connect to places like Mendoza and also parts of Chile to bring all this human talent together. Jose, you were mentioning when we were there together. Tell us a little bit more about the education standards that are true across Mendoza. The education there is really, really strong. Tell us a little bit more about that.
It's very important to talk about education, and sometimes apart from education and from all the structure and education that we have, it's important about the culture that we have in Mendoza. Because as you were telling us about how clean is Mendoza, that is part of our education and part of our culture. We have a very strong system of education. The education system is a public education system. And is compulsory in certain levels. We have a primary school, we have a secondary school, and then we have universities. We have two very big public universities that are free for anyone of the world, not only for Argentinians, for anyone that came to Argentina to study. Sometimes there are a lot of people from Brazil, Chile, and Bolivia who come to study to public universities in Argentina, especially Mendoza. But as I was telling you, the culture of Mendoza is very important because we live in a desert and we have to take care of all the natural sources to live. We have developed, as you were watching the slides, a very strong agricultural system, and we sell all of the products that we produce to all the world. But to do that, we have to be really educated, development a lot of technologies, and taking care about the natural sources that we have in our place. Maybe I don't know if you want to say anything else, that I explain anything else.
Well, no, it's interesting because, I mean, I guess because of that access to the education levels, you'll find software developers, as an example. Like we have a team based out of northern Mexico that is in the process of looking at how to properly hire developers in Mendoza. And there is a price differential. Argentina over the last few years has been going through some difficulty downturns. Part of the opportunity, though, this isn't the negative taking advantage of situations. This is just the truth is there are people who want jobs in Argentina that are absolutely brilliant in Mendoza. Part of the thing that I think is interesting to see is how, it might be companies in Mexico that are selling to the United States that end up hiring Mendozans. Have you seen examples about that across different companies and stuff like that that you might share, Jose?
There are some examples, but first, maybe it's okay that I explain to all the people that is here about the economy of Argentina and of Mendoza. Now, Argentina is having a bad time talking about the economy. We have a national government that is going to end soon, which makes our country being in the top 5, but not in the good top 5, in the bad top 5 of inflation. We have a huge inflation in our country, which produce a lot of things. Maybe that in some way is a bad thing for the country, but that for us is going to be an advantage for Mendoza when the things get better. Why I say this to you? Argentina had a lot of debt, the country, and a lot of inflation, and some budget issues. But Mendoza, in the opposite side, is prepared and ready to take off when the next government take power and begin to do all the reforms. Why I said that? Mendoza during the last 4 years have a budget that is perfect. We reduce reduce the debt of Mendoza in 35%, and we have a very ordered state, and we are very ordered and very ready. That's why a lot of international companies invest and have platforms in Mendoza. Maybe I can put again on a slide to show all the people that is here, companies that are doing things in Mendoza. We have in Mendoza working a lot of very important companies. We have a lot of banks. We have a lot of energy development, because also we have the 30% of one of the shale oil and gas biggest reservoirs in the world. Well, Kevin was asking me about international companies that work very strong in Mendoza. For example, Louis Vuitton Group, the owner of Louis Vuitton, of Moet Chandon, they are developing a lot of things in Mendoza. And when Kevin talks about education, imagine that now one of the guys who is doing the Dom Perignon, one of the most iconic champagnes of the world, is a guy who was educated, born in Mendoza, and they begin to work in Chandon, Mendoza. Now he's working as one of the master winemakers of the Dom Perignon champagne. We have a lot of very important companies like Total, Shell. Well, there is a huge quantity of companies working, international companies working in Mendoza, Argentina. And I believe that we are a good platform, and we can give more to other places of the world.
Yeah, I guess the thing I'll emphasize about what Jose is mentioning is that Mendoza as a state has had a really strong discipline about fiscal discipline. And Jose, you might even mention, you mentioned that the governments are about to change. There's elections in the next few days in Argentina. I mean, I know that you can't go into a lot of details, but could you give us kind of a sense what's expected to happen? What's and how does that affect the way we might think about the opportunity for earlier stage companies? Like what's about to happen with the election?
Well, this Sunday we are going to have the presidential primary elections. We are going to, all the people in Argentina are going to be choosing the different candidates of the different parties to fight in the next election that's going to be in October. The good news that are being watched by all the international funds and banks is that all the four principal candidates that we have all are moderates and are pro-Western society and pro-market. That is really good because all the people is all the people of the world is very interested in what is going to happen in Argentina, because everything is now very cheap to invest, because during the last 4 years we had a government that was not pro-market and was not aligned with the West, and that makes that Argentina is very attractive to all the investors of the world, and Mendoza is most attractive because we are the most ordered state in the country. We have all our fiscal, we did all the homework during these years, and that is really good to be ready to take off.
Yeah, no, it's the idea for those of you that as entrepreneurs that you haven't studied economics, the main thing that's happening that's exciting about the change that's coming with these four different candidates is each one of them, like Jose has mentioned, is pro-market. And so a lot of the what's expected based on the kind of the flu that Argentina as a country has had is going to get fixed going into that, and that alignment with with the West and with free trade agreements like we find, with in Chile and in Mexico, then the connection opportunity, it just means that Mendoza's on sale right now. I hate to say it like that because it sounds kind of mercenary, but the best part about it is, some of those earlier stage firms like that might not have considered that they could actually leverage an international location. This is definitely a location that you can actually land into, have an amazing quality of life for the time that you're there, and have low cost associated with that. In fact, part of what we were talking to the one of the incubators there, when I met with the mayor, Jose and I met with the mayor of Mendoza himself, and we were talking about the possibility of having landing pads for entrepreneurs that say you're in Texas or you're in Mexico or you're some other place, but you need to actually dig in, build out a team. You want to have an inexpensive places to land that you can actually do that in Mendoza, even though your hometown might be Austin, Texas. Anything you'd like to say about that that idea, Jose, about being able to do landing pads in Mendoza for these other companies that might be in other parts of the world, whether it's in northern Mexico or Texas or some other place?
Well, the idea that the mayor and us have is to try to give the opportunity to support companies that want to try or to develop things in our country. That is we believe that is a very good opportunity for all the entrepreneurs, because in Mendoza we have a lot of education, as Kevin said, and also the infrastructure is very good to develop things. To give an idea, because maybe no one knows here in Mendoza, one of the public universities is the base in which the nuclear technology of Argentina was developed. Imagine that, and we have been selling nuclear technology to Australia and to a lot of countries. We have very good places to do things, and we can build landing a path to land to all the entrepreneurs. I don't know if you were trying to orient me to tell this. Sometimes my English is bad.
No, hay
I'm
problema.
slower thinking in English than it is.
Yeah, claro que sí, entiendo todo. Es perfecto. So the main thing that's happening is, part of the thing I'm pointing to is, I'll say it first person as myself, as Kevin, the guy who gets to fly around the world and actually land. The nice thing about it is just being able to land, have a really nice quality of life. Like one of the things that Jose helped me do was just slow down for a little bit. But then to be able to have, developers or technology from one of the universities that he's mentioning that you're actually tied into as part of a bigger picture, that's really powerful. And, one of the reminders was Jose and I went to a beautiful lunch at one of the wineries. We had some of this wine. Actually, I decided I loved it so much that I had to grab a bottle to bring back home. And just be able to slow down a little bit, but still get work done. And it's not that that people move slow in Mendoza at all. It's about trying to tap into, Austin crazy entrepreneur needs to slow down just a little bit to get more stuff done. Because many times I think in the United States, especially, we work so hard, but we end up, it's, just being busy versus actually being productive. Mendoza actually helped me take just a moment with this one lunch that I'm referring to. And then I had a creativity explosion later that day, just getting to focus on the things that I really had to focus on. I want to make sure I point to that because I think that we're going to have that opportunity for both Chileans, Mexicans, Texans, perhaps people from other countries as we explore how to build these opportunities together. I've gone through most of my question about that I want to ask Jose about an education, lifestyle, landing pad, elections, technology. The university that Jose was mentioning as well, the vice rector actually went to the University of Texas at Austin and was real excited to receive me as an Austinite, also as a UT alum. And so there is going to be some support that comes specifically out of that. But that being said, we've got some space that we can answer some questions. If you're in the studio audience and you would like to actually, if you'd like to ask a question, you can either type it into the chat or you can raise your digital hand. And if you're in one of the, we're having some problems with our LinkedIn stream. So I apologize to the people that normally follow us on LinkedIn. For whatever reason, that stream's having some difficulty. We'll get Jello to give us kind of an update if that's been fixed. He'll post it into there. But if you have a question that you'd like to ask, raise your digital hand and then let's go ahead and hop right into it. I'll start with a question that Paulina has actually typed in. She says, what plans do you have for the Texas and Mendoza partnership? Jose, is there immediate stuff that you'd like to share, like about what you're thinking with next steps? About that?
Our idea is to try to build a strong relation between Tech Ranch and Mendoza. We want to establish that relation and to help an interchange of entrepreneurs from Mendoza to Texas and from Texas or any other country of the world to Mendoza. We believe that Tech Ranch is like an airline hub that Mendoza can use and share with a lot of countries all over the world to begin to help all the entrepreneurs to develop their projects.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect. Let's go ahead and do this. There's a number of people that are actually asking questions, and some of them are sending me private direct messages on Zoom. Bill, let's why don't you hop on and ask your question directly? Just feel free to go ahead and hop in.
Yeah. José, un placer de conocerte y no conozco a Argentina, pero está en mi lista. But my question is, I understand the concept of landing pads and the infrastructure that you have. What are the goals that Mendoza and Argentina has with Austin and Texas? And then how can Tech Ranch help you with those?
Our goals are to develop a lot of we need to sell and develop a lot of things. We need to export our knowledge. We need to export not only our products, because we have a very good development of our products. Maybe you have drink one time an Argentinian wine. Are you in Austin? Are you in Austinville?
Yes, I am.
here.
There's a winery that just imports Austin wines close by. I'm blanking on the name of it.
Maybe all of you have been in the specs and you find a wine of Argentina. Well, we are developing a lot of technology, and we have a lot of developers, and we have a lot of other things that we need to begin to sell all over the world. We also have now a lot of audiovisual industry. It's okay in English?
Yeah, perfecto.
We have a lot of things that we develop and we need to show to the world, and we believe that the experience that Kevin and Tech Ranch has and could be great to be a multiplier of the efforts that we are doing in Argentina. It can be a multiplier to have a more important impact of our working.
Very good. Thank you.
That's perfect. I know that we have a couple other people that we haven't heard from before, but that reach out to me all the time. Cynthia, if you're listening, I'd love to actually put you on the spot. Whether it's Cynthia's an entrepreneur that's based out of Honduras, who also has a winery there. Oh, she's in the car. Cynthia.
Hi, I'm driving. I'm driving.
Thanks for joining us today. I hope
How
you're
are
feeling
you?
better. And I'm just, I know that you're both a wine entrepreneur as well as a entrepreneur that has like artificial intelligence platform in mental health. Tell us any questions you'd like to ask. I mean, it's interesting how we might tie all these different locations together. Oh, I'm not sure if she heard me.
It went.
Do you guys serve Argentinian wine?
I didn't really.
I tell you what, it looks like we might have a bad connection right this second. But Cynthia, when you get to a good connection, just hop in, and I'd love to get you to ask a question or two.
Maybe
what we'll do.
Take off the image. She can be ready to answer because
I tell you what, Cynthia, well, what we'll do is we'll get you to come back in a second because you're coming in and out. Tom Evans just raised his hand. Tom, join us and feel free to go ahead and ask your question.
I wanted to add a comment in is you didn't mention one of the great things of Mendoza is snow skiing in Las Leñas.
Yes,
it's ski season there right now. So for those of us in Texas, a great way to escape the heat.
It also we are building one of the most what we are doing a new in the province. They are developing a new ski resort that is amazing and is taking care of the environment, and it's huge. You have to watch that. I will be sending you the name because it's incredible. They are developing, and it's going to be one of the biggest and most related to the environment ski centers in the world. Is amazing, and it's located near Las Leñas. Well, let's go with the question.
No, that was I was just wanted to share that. I went to Las Vegas 30 years ago and really enjoyed it. So
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing they actually look at is obviously with it being like Fahrenheit 104 degrees in Austin right now, or 40 degrees Celsius, to be able to get away to a place that it's much cooler is it's interesting because I mean, there, instead of like going to some other part north, you can go far south and then actually have access to all sorts of other things that you might not think about, like the wineries, the ski slopes, the culture, the lifestyle. But then when I'm speaking to the entrepreneurs, I want to make sure to say, hey, but you also can plug it in and do things that make it possible for it to actually have business impact. Cynthia, a while ago we turned off your video. I'm wondering if you're now in a place where maybe without the video we could just get you to ask the question that you might have had.
I'm back. I'm sorry. I was having lots of trouble with driving, the connection and everything. But I have been listening to all the conversation and it's very interesting. Muy interesante lo que está pasando en Mendoza, José.
Perfect. So you guys have like in Honduras, you have you're both an entrepreneur that has a mental health AI startup, but also you have a wine cafe or something like that there.
No, okay, so we have a wine distribution company that belongs to mainly my brother, but it's like a family business because we all help out. We help him, and we bring wine from all over the world. We already have like 5 brands from Mendoza. One of my favorites is El Enemigo. I'm sure
Alejandro
Jose knows. Yeah. Well, I love that one, and many others. So we also have a wine bar here because the culture of wine was not of drinking wine was not something that existed before we opened. So we have been helping people out on wine drinking for the past 6 years now. And it's a very interesting industry, I must say. Yeah, I'm actually a sommelier. And I can tell you I really like it.
Yeah,
But
it's always, go right ahead. Go ahead.
But also, I have a personal project in artificial intelligence for mental health support because that has always been my passion, like to help others. And one day I realized when I was working in with the wine bar, at the wine bar, giving out a wine tasting class, like, who am I helping here? What am I helping people do? Just drinking wine. So I don't know. Something inside me just couldn't do it anymore. And I decided to do my own thing. I'm still in the wine industry, but from afar.
Well, it's interesting that for me, the thing that's been nice is we build out the network. As we build out this network, a lot of times one of the things that wine has represented in the relationships and stuff like that is taking time to really connect, be relational versus transactional. There is something special about that. And that whole focus on mental health, especially one of the reasons that I'm promoting this idea of lifestyle is I know that my mental health has suffered because I've just focused on kind of being in the Silicon Valley go process and working for several Silicon Valley companies and then starting my own stuff. That it's important to say, hey, there is a tie here. It's about just pointing to not just building solid technology ventures and stuff like that, but actually taking time. It's not about the wine. It's about the thing that we're pointing to is the lifestyle, the healthiness as we build the world that comes. We need to be focusing on that more. So yes, thank you, Cynthia. And I look forward to at some point getting you to share even more about the more in depth about the startup that you're driving.
Sure.
Today. Cool. Well, let's go.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you connected. We need to do a cross the Americas kind of review of all the different things. I'm excited to have Honduras represented in the conversation today. All right, well,
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Jose.
yeah, Jose,
welcome.
so we'll go back to and I'm sure that there's going to be opportunity. Jose, tell us about your own wine. You're not only a congressman, but you're also you're a businessman, a congressman, and you're a winemaker. Tell us about that, since we're talking about wine just a little bit, just to give us kind of a little bit more color on
First
things.
of all, I am a vineyard producer, and I will be doing that forever. With my family, we had been for 13 generations in Mendoza since 1562, having grapes there. And well, I am an entrepreneur like you, like all of you, and now, apart from having my vineyard, I'm developing my wine for some years, and that is like my passion, because politics is a passion, but it's a passion that is more short in the time, because I believe in the Republic, and you have to be sometimes helping, but then I have to go back to my real work and my passion, that is the wine. And I'm developing a wine, a brand, a Malbec, and my idea is to sell some special kind of Malbec in Texas. I used to sell some years ago with a partner that I have in Texas, one brand, and now I'm developing a high-end wine brand for Texas.
That's perfect. Well, we'll actually have, if you saw some of my social media, if you look at some of my social media, you'll see one of the events that we did on this last Sunday was essentially an Argentine barbecue with amazing, as a Texan, I know something about meat. Ben, this was pretty impressive. So the meat plus the wine definitely was quite the experience. Jose, I know we're coming to kind of our close for today and all that sort of stuff. Is there anything else that you'd like to say, or any other points of connection that you'd like to make sure that people that are listening in can tie into?
Yes, I would like to end saying thanks for your patience watching us, especially me speaking in my English that is not very good. Sorry for all the mistakes. I believe that if any time you want to come to work to Mendoza, it's going to be great for us to receiving you, because entrepreneurs in Mendoza have a lot of chance. We are going to be building things with Tech Ranch and with Kevin. We want to build ties between the United States and Mendoza, and being an entrepreneur in Mendoza is going to be great for you, because you will be working, but also drinking really good wine for a very, very cheap price. And we would love to be able to do what you want. And also skiing, like my friend said.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I tell you what we'll do is we'll make sure that part of the thing is like we see with all these different locations that the Tech Ranch has been pointing to around the world. Mendoza definitely has a very unique offer to offer, and Jose has been coming up to Austin with these different delegations for quite a while. So I'm real excited about I'm excited that I finally got to go see it firsthand myself. Part of the thing that I actually see happening, and this will mainly, if you're interested in tapping into this, part of the thing to do on the community site, there will be over the next week, we typically ask all of our different speakers to kind of linger in the community site to answer questions back and forth about what, maybe there's a follow-up question that you like to dig into and stuff like that. And on this specific idea about taking advantage of what, as the market really opens in Argentina as a whole, and specifically to leverage the discipline that the state of Mendoza has been cultivating over a very long time, but then the availability of the low-cost talent and access to technology in a way that makes it really possible with that lifestyle. We'll have pointers towards that. I know that for myself, obviously, since I travel a lot, I will be back just because there is something about being able to still get work done in a really strong way, but having access to lifestyle, even if it's just for a few weeks as you're plugging in to the local color there. So thank you, Jose. Excited to have you back in Austin. I think your next trip to Austin, you mentioned, is going to be the beginning of October. Is that correct?
Exactly. When we finish our elections, I'm planning to go to Austin to visit all the friends that I have there, and maybe we can make a meeting, or if you have any doubt or anything that you're interested in, feel free to reach Kevin, and we will be working together and talking if you want in October.
That sounds great. I look forward to it. Well, I tell you what, if you're interested, make sure that you always, the easiest way, in case I personally miss a message, one of the easiest ways that we're getting really good for the community to make sure that we can connect, so it's not just dependent on my mailbox. Make sure that you're in the community, and I'm talking to everybody now. Make sure you're in the community. We'll tell you with a slide about how to connect into that. And make sure that you're watching the events calendar. I'll go ahead and bring my slides back up. We'll go ahead and start bringing things to a close. That place to actually plug in is techranch.com/connect. There's a bunch of different pointers there for connecting into different aspects of the Tech Ranch. But the most important for what I'm pointing to right now is get into the community site. It's free to get involved at the first stage. There's all sorts of other things and programs that we can support you with on, if you're farther down the path on entrepreneurship and you need some other access, but get involved there. And then back to the other countries, the country manager stuff, there's a link on that site as well to say, hey, just to express your interest. Hey, I'd like to be a mentor in the network, or hey, I'd like to get more involved in a variety of different ways. All that sort of stuff is there. What we'll do in closing today, I'm excited I will be back in Austin. I got several questions today. Yes, I'm already supposed to be back in the United States. Like I said, the delayed trip or the canceled trip made it a little bit difficult. Otherwise, I'd already be on U.S. soil and talking to y'all from Atlanta today. But I will be back in Texas tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to following up with everyone. We've got a lot of other different locations that are going to be plugging in. That being said, the thing to look at with each one of these locations that we're talking about is what's unique and what, as an entrepreneur, might you be able to take advantage of in building these relationships and building these venture bridges back and forth. Jose was talking about building ties. I've been talking about building these venture bridges. The idea is to make it easy for you as an entrepreneur to gain access to these other markets, to gain access to other resources and tools and stuff like that. So take advantage of that. Well, it's always my honor to be a part of a network of entrepreneurs, a community of entrepreneurs that are driven by vision and values. Let's go change the world for the better together. Y'all take care. Thank you for today, and we'll talk to you again soon.